When making boomerang bags, you need to cut your fabric into approximately 20 inches by 40 inches. For sheeting and things, it's just as easy to tear rather than cut. Some bags come already screen printed, others require a patch. If using a patch, you need to iron all 4 raw edges over. You need to centre and pin the ironed patch onto the front of the bag. If you're careful with how you place your pins, you don't need to be worrying about sewing over them. You need to sew the patch onto the bag. It is a great way to use up old bits of thread that you have left in bobbins. Fold the right sides of your bag together. Pressing the seam along the bottom will make it easier to do your corners later on. Sew and neaten your side seams. Make sure you backstitch at the top to strengthen the seam. You can use any coloured thread again for this process. You now need to create the corners at the bottom of your bag. To do so, you need to take the bag and align the bottom fold with the side seam. I find a pin here helps hold it in place. Turn it around and then use a ruler to rule 3 inches up from the bottom. The line you draw will be your sewing line. You need to do the same for both sides of your bag. You now need to sew the bottom corners. Make sure you backstitch and sew along the line you drew. Backstitch each end. Once you have done that, you need to cut the excess fabric off and neaten the seam. It is now time to finish the top of the bag. To remove the raw edges, you need to fold over about 1/2 inch, 1.5 centimetres, press down. Create a second fold then of about 1.5 inches or so. You also need to now make handles. Cut your handles approximately 24 inches by 3.5 inches. You then iron your handles all raw edges over about 1/2 inch or so. And once you have ironed around all 4 edges, you fold it in half so you can sew the handle together. It's important to sew around all sides of the handle so it doesn't roll. Sew around all 4 sides of the handles. There's no need to backstitch as the bottoms of the handles will get sewn quite a few times when it's being attached to the bag. Again, you can use any coloured thread, top or bottom. You now need to pin your handles to the bag. The handles are pinned in about 6 inches. You need to pin the handle on to hold it in place. Be careful not to twist the strap and pin it to the other side. Flip the bag over and repeat the procedure for the other side. You now need to sew the handles onto the bag. I usually begin at a side seam so I have some point of recognition of where I've been. Make sure you backstitch each time you come to one of the handles. You need to sew a loop around the bottom of the bag. Then a second loop will be sewn along the top. You can chain piece bags together if you need to save thread. The last step is to make sure all your threads are trimmed off and turn the bag right the way round and you have a completed bag. We number our bags using a laundry marker to keep track of how many have been sold and gone into the community. Voila.